Alright guys, welcome back here to the Daily Coin. Currently I'm up here $63,000 here on my Bitcoin short position, and in this video I will be talking about this chart right over here, this chart, and I will be talking as well here about the Michael Saylor situation. But before all of that, let's first dive here into the short-term analysis. So what we basically can see here is that Bitcoin is currently down here about 54% here from the all-time high. Exactly as we have been predicting, Bitcoin continues to move here further to the downside. Now the reason for this is very simple, and that is because Michael Saylor announced that he is going to be ready to sell more Bitcoin into the future. The reason for this is, of course, to pay for the dividends that he has taken out to buy Bitcoin, well, at this very high level. I think he bought most Bitcoin at around $90,000. So right now he has to raise the dividends on Bitcoin that he bought at $90,000. Obviously, he has taken way too much risk. And the exact scenario that I have been talking about in many of my videos is that while Bitcoin is probably going to easily be able to recover from this, and I don't think that the damage on Bitcoin is going to be significant, I think his stock is going to be absolutely done. And that is exactly what we're seeing. Now, while most people were saying that Michael Saylor is going to go bankrupt, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, Bitcoin going to crash to 20K, a lot of these theories, they didn't really work out. My main thesis has been from basically the day that the whole Michael Saylor situation basically went down is, I told you guys, his stock is going to crash, but Bitcoin is going to be absolutely fine. And Bitcoin can definitely recover from all of this, but it's just mainly that his stockholders are going to get hurt by it. It's not even necessarily the dividends holder, but just primary his stockholders. And that is exactly what we are seeing right now. His stock being down here, let's just look here from the all-time high all the way here to the low is about 84%. But I still think we can crash here further to the downside. Again, may I remind you about the fact that in the previous Bitcoin bear market, Michael Saylor, his stock crashed about 90% to the downside. Now, currently we're only down here 94%, which still leaves us a little bit room here for his stock to move further to the downside. Now, this is exactly what we have been talking about in many of my videos, and it's again that Bitcoin historically would have about here an 80% correction into the downside every single time. And we can see that these pullbacks here, we can see 2011, 93, 96, 94, 77. Over time, there seems to be an uptrend. So over time, these pullbacks, they are not as strong anymore, which kind of has made me to kind of say like, okay, I think we're probably going to crash like between 60 to 70% to the downside, but we still have more room here to crash here further to the downside. And I've told you guys here, be prepared about that. I mean, I've went here inside this short position right over here on Bluefin, and if you don't know what a short position is, basically I make money if the Bitcoin price is either going to go to the upside or to the downside. And by using leverage, for example, opening a short position, I can bet on if the price is going to go to the downside and then make more money. So in this case, if the Bitcoin price crashes 10% to the downside, if I use here a 10x, well, I have a 20x leverage. So basically 10% move to the downside would be about a 200% gain here. So you can basically amplify your money. Now that means if the price is going to move into the opposite direction, so you go short but the price tends to move to the upside, then obviously you lose also the same amount of money. But if you can kind of like have a very high prediction that the price is going to crash, like using these platforms, you may be able to increase your exposure. So I'm not going to go into all the technicalities. I'm not a financial advisor as well, but I do have a sign up link like, hey, if you are interested and if you are eligible here for this right over here, then make sure to check out the link here in the description. I have a 20% trading bonus cashback here for Bluefin. Now, anyway, moving forward here, what can we really expect here again for this cycle? So this is right over here the Bitcoin to USDT dominance. And what we can basically see here is that when the Bitcoin price is at these very high levels and the Bitcoin price tends to absolutely overrun the actual Tether supply, or well, overrun, kind of outperform the actual growth of the Tether supply, you see a major overbought territory. And this is what this indicator right over here shows. But it also shows you that, for example, if the Bitcoin price has a significant crash to the downside, but the Tether market cap overall stabilizes and tends to go sideways, then that's an indication that the Bitcoin price and the Bitcoin sellers are becoming exhausted. Because again, right over here, this is the Tether market cap. And basically something that we really have to understand is that Tether is like one of the major controllers here of the Bitcoin price. You kind of have the Tether, you have the ETFs, you have the miners, probably the miners here on number one. But overall, we have to understand that Tether basically is cash that is sitting here on the sideline. Now, currently, Tether is worth here about 185 billion US dollars. So that's the amount of money that is in this stable coin. Now, if people are selling, what they generally do is they move into a stable coin, they hold that stable coin, and then when the price again looks appetizing to them, they get back in. So what is interesting that this indicator right over here shows you, it kind of shows you the trend when too many people are crowded into stable coins and holding stable coins, expecting the price will continue to move further to the downside. You basically basically see here this indication that that's when the Bitcoin price breaks here below this level. The same here in the opposite direction, where literally there's not enough money inside these stable coins and the Bitcoin price way outperforms the actual growth of the stable coin supply. You can see that right over here, this indicator indicates that the price is overbought. So it's a very nice and simple indicator, but basically it's been right every single time. You could see around the tops here, around the bottoms here, around the tops here. And so right now, again, we're looking at the Bitcoin price potentially having one more further correction here to the downside to again get inside this same territory. Now, we're also seeing, and this is again very, very interesting, that the Tether supply is currently near an all-time high. So we have way more Tether supply, about double right now. So we went from 80 billion right over here to 180 billion. So an increase of 100 billion US dollar, while the Bitcoin price is trading around the exact same level it was when it had around 80 billion, which means the Tether market cap has absolutely exploded, which is a very good indication that there's a lot of money still on the sideline, very ready to get inside the Bitcoin price. Now, the thing is, again, is even though I am bearish, and I do expect, again, a further correction to the downside, this is going to be, again, in my opinion, a very normal Bitcoin bear market cycle. We don't really have to worry too much about this. Eventually, the price tends to recover. This is kind of what Bitcoin tends to do over and over again. And I just don't really think that this is anything really different from what we have seen in the past. Now, again, there's a lot of different indicators that you can actually use. You can use on-chain analysis, and this is one of those indicators as well that uses on-chain analysis to actually kind of look at, hey, where can the Bitcoin price potentially here bottom out? And this indicator, again, has been correct every single time. And the interesting thing about this indicator is that it also predicted here very close to the all-time high. There's not a lot of indicators that are actually capable of really doing that. A lot of indicators, they expect it a lot higher levels, but this is one of those indicators that exactly predicted here the top as well. Now, sadly, this indicator is as well predicting that the Bitcoin price may still crash here to about 40,000 US dollar. Now, if the Bitcoin price will crash to 40,000 US dollar, let's have a look at that on how much of a percentage of a correction that would be. That would here be about a 67% correction to the downside. Now, again, if that sounds absolutely crazy to you and you think to yourself like, hey, there's just no way that can actually potentially happen. Well, 67% correction, that would be pretty much in line with what we have been seeing here in terms of these drawdowns. Maybe you'd be probably surprised by it, but it wouldn't really change anything. It would be kind of, again, in line with what we have seen in the past. And again, $40,000 for a Bitcoin is still an immense amount of money, but be prepared for that potential scenario. Now, if that is going to be the case, I have stocks that I'm looking to buy Metaplanet, and I will talk about this in my next video, my strategy here regarding Metaplanet. But for this video, that is going to be here the end. So if you enjoyed this video, and again, you want to be trading here as well on Bluefin, check out the link in the description, and you get a 20% trading bonus cashback right over here. Check out the details here down below if you want to be trading here as well on Bluefin. So as you guys can see, current trade is going well. Now, anyway, that's going to be here the end of the video. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.